Good evening, Zimbabwe. Welcome to another exciting edition of Economic Forum, your weekly program that brings you economic highlights from across Zimbabwe. I am Petros Muhawa. Right here on Economic Forum, we are continuing with profiling young Zimbabwean entrepreneur with the spirit of setting an example and let the nation and the world know what our young entrepreneurs are doing in the economy. On this week's program, we've invited another young entrepreneur with interest in refrigeration and air conditioning in Zimbabwe, Zambia, and the region, George MUNENGWA. George, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
George, a young entrepreneur in Zimbabwe in refrigeration and air conditioning. You're looking at the region. Take us through, how did you start in life?
I began not as an entrepreneur. I began as a young man who failed his O-levels dismally. And I had to repeat. I had love and passion for soccer initially. And, due to circumstances beyond my control, unfortunately, my father could not fend for me to go to university after I finished school. So I had to, try and make ends meet. And one thing that happened when I was trying to finish my IMM, which I never got to finish, my father couldn't afford, so I had to go to Zemex Mall, which is where I began my life in entrepreneurship. And I began selling phones there. I worked in various sectors of the economy. I sold clothes, I sold paint. I did a lot of things as a young man until I then worked for a former air conditioning company and then found a love for what I'm currently doing now, which is air conditioning and refrigeration.
How did you fund the business then?
How I funded the business, it's amazing that as a young man, I got married at the age of 27. And I had the responsibility of twins. I was blessed with some twins. And at that current time, I was earning equivalent to $300. And that, unfortunately, was not enough to sustain my family. I mean, just being married and Pampers and this, that, and the other, I couldn't sustain the family. And having worked for that company for about nearly 2 years, I decided to go on the journey of entrepreneurship and start my own business. There's no way I could have taken my kids to the schools that my father would have taken me had I remained in employment. So it was a high risk, but then it's something that I did and something that I believed that would work because things at that time were not adding up, and that's how basically we started.
How did you fund the business? Did you get a loan from a bank? Did someone?
Okay, well, how we funded the business, what we did, when I left where I used to work, I had $250. And basically, I went, printed company profiles, and I went to every single person who I thought I knew, and I handed them over my business cards and let them know, hi, this is what I am now doing. And to my surprise, the people who I thought would support me were not the people who actually even did anything for me. So some 3 weeks into the business, I had run out of ideas. I then got a call from a client who then pre-financed our order. And at that time, I remember I was a one-man gang. I was going around in the city, telling people that Pro Air is the biggest air conditioning company in Zimbabwe, and yet I was a one-man gang. And I had just had that self-belief. Remember, I have a family to feed, and I had the expertise in knowing what I wanted to do, but I didn't have the resources. So the client that gave us our very first order basically pre-financed us. So I never got any funding, any loan. We just gave them our quotation and they paid a deposit, and that's how basically our business began.
Okay. So you've been in business for how many years now?
We've been in business 7 years. We were established in April 2012.
And how are you managing to keep the company afloat? Because people are around, some bigger giants have closed, some banks have gone.
Okay, I think in business there are key principles that you need to apply for a business to be successful. I know that Zimbabwe is a very harsh economy where things are changing here now and then, but I think there are basic things that we have managed to put in play. One thing that makes us be remembered wherever we go is that we offer a very good quality service. We also do our work with our heart. We offer very good workmanship and very great warranties compared to all our other competitors out there. So, in order for you to stay afloat, you just need to go the extra mile and do what other people aren't doing for people to, consistently support you. It has not been easy, I can tell you, because the current economic situation is not conducive. But you'll find in our industry, we have a product which is not a luxury like it used to be called, but is now a necessity, where people day in, day out, whether it's their refrigerators, their air conditioning units, in hospitals, in supermarkets, wherever you go, it's a must, because we're in an era where global warming is upon us, and our product, it's very important for people to work in a cool environment. For machines, such like the studio we're in, it's important to keep things cool and make things work the way they should.
Young people of your age are struggling to get into business, and some are even saying the level field is not even. What's your take on that?
I believe people who will not be remembered in life are people who had very great excuses why they did not do anything. And you find currently everybody will seem to blame the government why things are not working. But I believe that it's up to people to do something. I chose a path less traveled. I became an entrepreneur. And 7 years on, it's opened up my eyes to see greater opportunities, to be able to do things that I never imagined I could do. I mean, initially, I remember when I started, my own parents were not supportive of me. I remember when I was resigning, they actually, told me, no, George, $300, then for you to go and do something you don't know, because they were fearful that I would fail. And I had to take a very bold stance to actually do something that I wanted to do. To such an extent where my father, my father supported me at a very young age. I started selling freezers in grade 5 and so much, and he supported me. But when I began entrepreneurship and I resigned, he had actually came to me and said I had a dream, and this, that, and the other. And all of that was him fearing what I would do. He thought I would fail.
Translated into...
You see, so to a lot of people out there, they have great excuses. Right now, the current excuse that's there is the government, is this political party, is I don't have this education, is the government is not providing jobs. But I believe to somebody who wants to make something work, I believe an economy like ours, where there are so many problems, there are also so many solutions. So a lot of people should see it in another context, to actually see that if there's no power, if there's no this, that, and the other, why don't they create solutions instead of waiting and complaining?
There you have it, viewers. There should be solutions. Why can't we look for solutions to the problems we are having? And solutions can turn into a business. We'll take a short break. Welcome to the second segment of Economic Forum, where we are discussing entrepreneurship in Zimbabwe. And joining us in the studio is George MUNENGWA, a young Zimbabwean entrepreneur. George, before we went for a break, we were talking about your company in Zimbabwe. How many people do you employ locally, and which regions are you covering?
Okay, basically, our company is now employing 15 people, and we now have just recently set up a branch in Zambia.
Why did you go regional?
I think it's important for any organization to remain in existence, to grow. I think growth is the goal of any organization. And for us, like I said, our products are needed, not only in Harare or Zimbabwe, but our products are needed all over the world. So our goal initially was to be based in Zimbabwe, but as we grew, we find that our countries neighboring us definitely need our products as well. So that's why we decided to go regional.
Ease of doing business in Zambia. We have our own way of doing business here, and we've got a mantra: ease of doing business. We are open for business. Ease of doing business in Zambia. How did you find it in Zambia? How well were you received, and how smooth did your documentation excel?
Okay, well, in Zambia, I found the process of actually registering a business to be a lot easier, especially being a foreign citizen. It took me at most 4 days to have everything done, and I was very well received, and they are very much looking forward to having us working with them. So I found Zambia to be a place where definitely, because their temperatures are higher than ours, definitely they need our products. And they love Zimbabweans, because Zimbabweans are known for great workmanship wherever they go. So Zambia is very much looking forward to be, supporting us, and we're looking forward to be giving them a great service.
4 days company registered? You met the minister. No kickbacks in Zambia.
No kickbacks. Everything was done and dusted, and we were good and we're going on there.
What challenges are young entrepreneurship in business finding in Zimbabwe?
I think one thing about entrepreneurs in the country of Zimbabwe, entrepreneurs are actually the ones who are increasing employment. And I believe that the small to medium enterprises are actually one of the key pillars to help the government reduce the lack of employment. But I feel that they're not being supported as much with the government. I think they should, government should immediately apply, tax rebates to certain organizations when they start. Initially when they start, they should go a year or two without paying tax so that at least you establish yourself. And you'll find that companies which start immediately, there's so many hindrances. They're not getting the support they should get. It's not that the entrepreneurs are looking for loans from the government or the bank, but we just want an ease of doing business. I believe our mantra, we're open for business, should first come from the citizens of Zimbabwe. If the entrepreneurs and the business owners in Zimbabwe are happy with the way business is running, that will definitely attract more investors. But if you find most business people, whenever they sit around, it's not very good talk which is supportive to what the government is going on, which majority of business people are talking about. So I believe government should put a stance to actually listen, not to the blue chip companies. The blue chip companies are well established and they are already making loads of money. But right now, the guys who are starting up, and there's such a hub for, there's a hive of entrepreneurship currently in the country. And the government should support that because it's definitely increasing the number of people being employed. And if they support them, I can guarantee you our deficit of unemployment will definitely be, alleviated from the government.
Looking at it from an angle where we are creating employment, you as an employer in Zimbabwe, are other employers also of the same mindset that we are supposed to build this economy? These employers I'm talking about are employers of your age. Are you all guys zeroing in to create employment for other youth who are also in your age bracket?
You'll find that all entrepreneurs, I cannot run the company like I started by myself. And especially we cannot cater for the whole of Zimbabwe by myself. And you definitely need to employ. And that employment is going to cover the whole country because we can't operate from one branch. So everybody definitely is every entrepreneur, you definitely need to employ in order for your business to keep going and your business to grow. So everybody who is an entrepreneur definitely goes with that sentiment that they are trying to uplift the country. They are trying to uplift those who are unemployed. We have a very educated country, and you'll find a lot of people are sitting at home with degrees and all this, and they're doing nothing. But the entrepreneurs are actually creating jobs for them. And the government should actually help and facilitate those small to medium enterprises to actually give them an ear. Business. It's just not the blue chip companies. And I just think the government has focused so much on the big companies, and they're forgetting the bulk, or actually the majority, of the small to medium enterprises, which are what make the country go and viable.
Entrepreneurs are born. That's what other people say. Are you of the same sentiment?
I don't believe entrepreneurs are born. I think entrepreneurs are made, and entrepreneurs are people who see an opportunity and seize it. Right now, I took an opportunity. It was a very high risk, the opportunity that I took to say, listen, I want to do this, and I took it, and it's been working well. The thing about entrepreneurship, you have to believe in yourself. A lot of people just think, yeah, it's easy, it comes easy. I can tell you the first year, 2 years was not easy. It was not easy at all. I was never born an entrepreneur. I used to boast about being the best sales, representative in organizations I used to work. That's what I used to see myself as. So entrepreneurs are made by those who are able to see an opportunity and seize it. And the ones who see an opportunity and seize it are the ones who become entrepreneurs. So it's not for everybody, you're very correct. But you will see with where we are going, jobs are going to be less and less. Currently, you know of companies which are retrenching because of technological advancements. You and I do not need to go to the bank anymore because technology has made it easier for you and I to operate. And there's so many other things which are happening, which are cutting a lot of jobs out there. So whether you like it or not, yes, it's not for everybody, but it would be something good for you to do, even if you're in employment. We're not saying to people, you know what, do what George did and he resigned and he started. But we just want to encourage people to see opportunities. Where there are so many problems and chaos is where so many opportunities are missed. And the people who capture those opportunities are the ones who will not be complaining about how hard life is.
Earlier on in the interview, you talked about doing something you love when you started this company. The purpose of the program is to set a pace, you are a pace setter. It's also educate other wannabe entrepreneurs in Zimbabwe to be as yourself. Some will come in for the money. Somebody also said, I will not fund a business which is not failed. In this case, what if the money doesn't come in the first year of doing business? Is your company faced financial challenges in the first year?
Definitely. There's so many times where I remember when I had myself and 2 other employees, and jobs were not coming in. But the most important thing about entrepreneurship, I always speak about it whenever I get a chance to speak where I go. I talk about the thing called focus, which is follow one course until success.
Follow one course until success. We'll take a short break. Welcome to the third and final segment of Economic Forum, where we are discussing entrepreneurship in Zimbabwe with George MUNENGWA. George, educate me. Follow one course until success.
Follow one course until success, which is focus. So every entrepreneur has to be known for a specific thing. I always talk about most of the renowned people in the country, the likes of Strive Masiwa. You'd immediately think of a specific brand when you speak about him. When I say Oprah Winfrey, you see something. When I say Cristiano Ronaldo, when I say Steve Jobs, when I say whoever I say, you immediately see something. And this is the key that every entrepreneur should have. You should do something so much that people get to know you by what you do. And this is what will then bring you rewards later. So many people want to, today, a phone, tomorrow they're selling laptops, the next day they're selling cars, next day they're doing printers.
If they give this money in this line, they run.
They want to go there. But then once you focus, people will know that you are now a guru at what you do because you've given it your all. So the greatest secret is to follow one course until success. So no matter what you're doing, do not do so many things. Be known specifically for one thing. And for me, I decided to be known for this particular trade, and that's what people know me for. So for people who are out there who are wanting to be entrepreneurs, follow one course, and I can guarantee you that will lead to your success. The other thing that's also made me become the person I am, I want to learn a lot from those who have gone before me. I have mentors who I look up to. I actually go and sit under them. And some of the business principles that I've learned from them. I've sat down, locally I've got some mentors, the likes of, Dr. Eve Kadzikwa, Dr. Edgar Chandiwana, Dr. Philip Chiangwa, Pastor Victor Kambasha, Apostle Melody Sibanda. All these people are people who I sit under. Some of them are business, some of them are, religion. As long as you are successful in something, there's something that you can actually learn from that person. So those are people that I've zoomed into. I've asked how they became successful, and I've applied into my business. And this is what has led me to being the person that I am, to even think regionally. Because alone I would have never thought of going regional. But because of my mentors who have gone before me, they can be able to advise, to say, George, go there, you can do it. And they're supportive, and they're constantly encouraging me. So, my association has really helped me to believe more in myself and to do more than I thought I could ever do.
You've talked about your mentors. Who is under your umbrella? Who are you mentoring?
I've got a mentorship class, which I call the GB Pie Factory. It's basically provoke, inspire, and equip. So there are young entrepreneurs who I have seen and who have pursued me, and I love to equip them with what I have learned. They may not get access to the mentors that I sat under, but for me, I want to download as much info so that they don't make as much mistakes that I also went through, and I equip them with knowledge, because I believe that one thing young entrepreneurs like, they have this full of I know everything. And then as soon as they make money, they want to buy an expensive car and, go around the nightclubs, spending money recklessly. But once you have somebody who mentors you, they can see your potential, they can, advise you, they can encourage you, and they can equip you with the ingredients that will definitely not only make you great, but greater than them. So I've got a platform that I have, and I've got some mentees that I try and assist to make their businesses grow.
Tell us about your company's CSR programs. What are you giving back to the community?
Okay, well, with our CSR, we are a company that believes that we are a Christian-based company, and we love to give back to the community. We believe that God blessed us so that we can be a blessing ourselves. So we have, we like the old people's home, Bumunto. We go and assist them. We've got Mongani, the children's home. It's based in Seke. I like to go to the less known places because the other ones are very well known. And we assist them wherever we can. There are about 20 children there. And we go and give them, some of the smallest of things that they appreciate. So at Mongani, the children's home, where, we found there's a young girl who all she wanted was a lunchbox. And, there's some things that we call luxuries, which actually could be so much more for the people out there. So I just think it's important for people generally to be more givers to the community and the less privileged.
Can you educate us more on the EII program, which you are involved in?
Okay, the EII is Executive Interaction Initiative, which was founded by the commander of the Defense Forces. And this is a charity organization. I am the organizing secretary for 2 Brigade. And this is an organization which basically wants to raise money from corporates to aid the charitable events that are there. So it's basically a group of business executives and corporates who come together to, depending, there are 10 brigades around the country. So they come together, they raise money, and then they go and they donate that money to relevant organizations or institutions. I think there was a time where there was a cholera outbreak. The EII was part of that corporate social responsibility, where they raised quite a lot of money at a dinner they had at the annual event. So I'm part of that, and I'm the organizing secretary for that. That's also a place where I've learned a lot of my business acumen, because you're surrounded with great people who have gone before you, and there's a lot that I've learned from that association.
Your parting words. Tell us about your family values and your Christian beliefs.
I believe in God, and I believe that anything that is not founded or has a foundation on biblical principles will not last long. So I believe that the organization that I serve, every morning we start with prayers. I believe so much in tithing and giving back. And I believe that, whatever you submit to the Lord will definitely succeed. So, so much of my life has so much reverence to God, because I know where I came from. I grew up in the high-density suburbs of Glenora, and I've come up to being where I am. And there's so much that's happened in my life which I can give glory and thanks to God. So with me, I so much believe in God, and I believe anybody who's out there who wants a sustainable business, it has to have the core principles and foundations of God. We've heard of the fly-by companies, but these companies were there, and some of them are not there anymore. I think it's because they were not based on strong biblical foundations, and some of them were based on other beliefs. So for me, I believe so much on believing in God, and that is one of my keys to success. I would like to say that to all entrepreneurs out there, it's so important. I believe that family is also a very pivotal and paramount thing that helps your business grow. And one thing I've done with my children, other than them being very supportive of me, I've started grooming up my kids. I've got 3 kids who I am, grooming up so that they know how the business runs. They are 9 years and 5 years old, and I'm constantly, telling them about business principles. I make them read books. I'm trying to equip them at a young age, and I can guarantee you that they are going to be exceptional leaders in the future to come. And to people out there, I believe it's important to believe in yourself as an entrepreneur. Learn as much as you can. Don't go around uchingo bigger one, big up mdara magaipa, this, that. Rather learn from somebody, rather than, you know, asking, you know, every time I want mdara magaipa, the next sentence is they want something. Rather than asking for money, ask, how did you make it? What can I do? What book can I read? Can you have time for me? So that you share some tips on entrepreneurship. That way we will become a generation which will go further than what we currently are doing. And the most important thing, believe in yourself. I remember I told you about my parents when I wanted to start. So many people can be out there who are scared of entrepreneurship, who are fearful of the unknown. But remember, fear is the greatest hindrance to the unknown. Whatever you fear is what will appear. So you have to really believe in yourself. Don't worry about what the naysayers say. Don't ask for advice from somebody who's never done business, because they can't advise you. Surround yourself with people who are flying high, and you too will fly high. And don't associate yourself with chickens.
Follow your dreams, follow your passion, learn as much as you can. That was George MUNENGWA, a Zimbabwean entrepreneur with interest in refrigeration and air conditioning, not only in Zimbabwe, but in the region as well. The purpose of this program is to set the pace for upcoming Zimbabwean entrepreneurs so that they learn from our own Zimbabwean entrepreneurs why and how they are in business. You have been watching Economic Forum. Good evening.